say a little prayer before we start our day. Let us thank God for the lovely things He has given us. God's love is so wonderful. God's love is so wonderful. God's love is so wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. So high, you can't get over it. So deep, you can't get under it. So wide, you can't get around it. Oh, wonderful love. Let us sing it again for all that He has given us. God's love is so wonderful. God's love is so wonderful. God's love is so wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. So high, you can't get over it. So deep, you can't get under it. So wide, you can't get around it. Oh, wonderful love. Thank the wonderful Lord.
Good morning, all of you. Welcome to the online session of Brihanmumbai Municipal Corporation. Myself, Girish Patil, today's expert teacher. Today is 29th of October. This is an extended session of our history subject. The topic Janapada and Mahajanapada. So the subject we are going to learn is history, and this is the third part of Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. Let us see the objectives. First of all, let us recapitulate what we have learned. See, this chapter was being divided into the three parts. The first part was to know about Janapadas. In that session, we took some detailed information about Janapadas, the period of Janapadas, how the Janapadas were formed, and some special features about Janapadas. The third session, we got the information about Mahajanapadas. In that session, we learned how the Janapadas raised into Mahajanapadas, what were the reasons they formed Mahajanapadas. Also, we got some detailed information about four important Mahajanapadas. You can see in this map. These were the four most powerful Mahajanapadas. Also, we got to know that the information about this Janapadas and Mahajanapadas is available in our historical books of Sanskrit, Pali, and Ardhamagdi literature. Also, we got some information about some Buddhist and Jaina texts. So, in the second lesson, we came to know about the location of the Janapadas and Mahajanapadas on the Indian subcontinental map. And these are the four Mahajanapadas about which we got the information in the previous session. And now, this is the third session, 6.3, the third session. Here we are going to get the detailed information about the rise of the Magad Empire. See, in the previous session, we saw that Magad, you also call it as Magadha. So Magad has a special importance in the history because it rose as a very powerful kingdom till the end of the 6th century BCE. We also came to know about the timeline, what is BC and what is AD. So this period we are learning is about ancient Indian history, which is before the birth of the Jesus Christ. In the previous chapter, we saw that the 4 Mahajanapadas, they got acquainted with Magad because Magad was the most powerful Mahajanapadas, and the kings of the Magad used various tactics like war or some diplomatic tactics like marrying the daughter of the king of the another Mahajanapada and including that Mahajanapada into his Mahajanapada and extending the boundaries. The most important feature about this Magad Empire is that this Magad Empire acquired most of the Mahajanapadas and extended its boundary. Hence, we are going to get the detailed information about the rise of the Magad Empire. See the next slide. Here, the most powerful Mahajanapadas, Magad. We saw that the location of the Magad on Indian subcontinental map. So it is showing that Magad is the area of South Bihar. The area of South Bihar. See, it is been encircled here. It's showing that the Magad Empire probably it is in the area which has been shown on the slide. We also came to know that the different Mahajanapadas have different ruling strategies like monarchies and republic. This Mahajanapada, Magadha, was having monarchy type of rule. Means the king or his family used to rule after him. Prominently, we see that 3 dynasties ruled Magad. See here the word dynasty. Dynasty means the family. The list of the families means the king, after him, his son, or the person who is capable to rule from his relation will only become the king. This type of monarchy system was there in Magad. Prominently, we see 3 dynasties ruled Magad. So, which were the dynasties? Haryanka dynasty. There were some rulers from Haryanka dynasty. After Haryanka dynasty, the Shishunagas were there. Means the family from Shishunagas family, the members from the Shishunagas family, they ruled Magad. And after Shishunagas, Nandas were there. So the Nandas were the last rulers of the Magad. So these are the 3 dynasties of which were ruling Magad Empire. Now, rise of the Magad Empire. How the Magad Empire rose? Who was the first king? So as we saw that Haryanka dynasty was the first dynasty. Bimbisara was the first king of Magad. You can see the photo over here. This is a picture of King Bimbisara. He was the first king of the Magad from Haryanka dynasty. The clan he belonged to is popularly known as Haryanka dynasty. See, the clan, the family he belonged is popularly known as Haryanka dynasty. Rajgriha was the capital of the Magad Empire during his reign. During his reign, means when he was ruling, he made Rajgriha. This Rajgriha, this city is in Bihar. This city was made as the capital. In the previous session, we saw that Rajgriha was also an important trade center during that period. After Bimbisara, his son Ajatashatru, he became the ruler. So Ajatashatru was the son of Bimbisara. He was the successor of Bimbisara. Means after Bimbisara, he came to rule the Magad Empire. Some important facts about Bimbisara I need to tell you. Bimbisara was a very prominent leader, and he was having a very effective administration system. He didn't like any of his officer to don't show interest in his work. He always appointed the prominent officers, and in order to facilitate his people living in his kingdom, he always had the relations with the Graminis, means to the ground root level. Ground root level, he made relations with the Graminis of the villages and solved the problems of the villagers and provided good facilities to the villagers. Hence, King Bimbisara was very much famous among in his kingdom, among the people in his kingdom. See, this is the photo of Ajatashatru, son of King Bimbisara. Ajatashatru continued with the policy of expansion of the Magad Empire. The kingdom of the Magad prospered during the reign of Ajatashatru. King Bimbisara was also interested in expanding his powers, in expanding his kingdom. As we all came to know that there was the use of iron. So kings made their arms, ammunitions. Also the farmers used to make their implements like plows and all with the help of iron. So there was a great revolution. The king was gaining a lot of power. And as we know that the king who gets power, he tries to expand his kingdom. And Bimbisara was also having the policy to expand his kingdom. After Bimbisara, his son Ajatashatru, who became the ruler of the Magad, he continued the policy of expansion by the means of war or some diplomatic strategies. This is Ajatashatru. Ajatashatru is defamed in history to kill his own father Bimbisar to annex the kingdom. Even though Ajatashatru was a very brave person, he was defamed. Defamed was, he was not very well admired by the people, because to kill his own father Bimbisar to annex the kingdom. This was a problem with Ajatashatru's image in history. Ajatashatru was a fearless and dangerous warrior. He was a fearless and he was a dangerous warrior. He made use of various destructive weapons like scythe chariot, that is called Ratha Musala, and catapult, that is Mahashila Kantaka. Scythe chariot and catapult. So what is that scythe chariot and catapult? See, you as a student try to do some innovations. So every individual tried to do some innovations. So at that period, Ajatashatru had made some innovations with the weapons. You can see in this picture. This is a scythe chariot. Chariot, it is a proper chariot having two horses. There are two horses. You can probably just see only one horse in this first picture, but assume that is a second horse in that other side, because this is the picture taken from one side. Okay. So two horses were there for the chariot, and a rotating wheel was being installed in the front side at some distance from the horses. When the chariot used to run the wheel chariot, and it cutted all the enemies that came in its way. I think that this scene, the second scene, which has been shown below, you have seen this scene in Bahubali film, which was being picturized, and the same type of idea has been taken in that film. Catapult. Now, what is catapult? Catapult is an instrument which is made to throw the huge stones on the enemy's army without the help of any gunfire metal or gunpowder. Without making use of any gunpowder, if you want to throw a stone on the enemy, a huge stone on the enemy, the same thing which we saw in Bahubali film, the same type of chariot, the same type of catapult has been used in the film. See, from this, you can get a simple idea that why we are studying this history. In the school days, when we study history, we come to know about the life of the period, the different things the people were doing at that time. We get the references from the books. And any one of you, if want to become a story writer or a script writer in his life further, he can make the reference of such books. Might be the writers of the Bahubali film would have take the references from such cinemas, read that books, and they would have taken some ideas from this text. So it is very important to learn history. Most of the students have the question that why we should learn history. So it gives the idea about the life of the people living in that period. So Ajatashatru was a fearless and a dangerous warrior, and he made use of the destructive weapons. He made his own weapons like scythe, chariot, and catapult. Here, Ajatashatru, there is an incident in his life that he got frightened and he came to meet Gautam Buddha. And that was the time that Ajatashatru became the follower of Gautam Buddha. He regularly visited the meetings of Gautam Buddha. The period of the Ajatashatru is very famous in history because of there is an important incident happened during this period. Mahaparinirvan of Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha left his soul from his body during the period of this Ajatashatru's reign. This was a very important incident. It was during this reign that first Buddhist council or Sangiti was held at Rajgriha. And the place where this Sangiti happened is Saptarani caves. So what is this Sangiti? This is the meeting of the Buddhist monks. They come together and they learn about the teachings of Gautam Buddha, and they preach the people. They tell the people about the teachings of the Gautam Buddha and try to heal the life of the people who are in sorrow and who are in difficulties. So after the Mahaparinirvan of Gautam Buddha, Ajatashatru organized the first Buddhist council or Sangiti at Rajgriha at Saptarani caves. This Rajgriha city is being surrounded by 5 huge mountains, and on one of the mountain, this Saptarani caves is there. Here the Sangiti was held by Ajatashatru. The next point, the foundation of the new capital, Patligram of Magad, was laid during Ajatashatru's period. Later, it became famous as Patliputra. Patliputra was probably in the vicinity of today's Patna city. See, as we saw the old and the new names of this Mahajanapadas, we came to know about the location of this Mahajanapadas. So, after the death of King Bimbisar, made Rajgriha as his capital. But when Ajatashatru became the ruler, he thought that the capital from Rajgriha to Patligram, and he found that city Patligram. The Patligram was popularly known as Patliputra, and this Patliputra is probably today's Patna city. After Ajatashatru, a noteworthy successor of Ajatashatru was the Magad king Shishunaga. Shishunag was the noteworthy successor. Noteworthy means we have to note it down about Shishunag. Some important things he did in his life to expand the kingdom. Hence, he is called the noteworthy successor. He was the first king of the Shishunaga's dynasty. As we saw that Magad Empire had 3 prominent dynasties. The second dynasty was Shishunaga's dynasty, and Shishunag. See the photo of Shishunag. Shishunag was the first king of Shishunaga's dynasty, who established his control on Magad after Haryanka dynasty. Means when the Haryanka dynasty ended, Shishunag established his control on Magad. Why the Shishunag? Why this Shishunag is so popular? Because he annexed the kingdoms of Avanti, Kosla, Vatsa to Magad. He followed the war strategies, the diplomatic strategies, and he won this other Mahajanapadas to the kingdom of Magad. Nearly the entire region of North India came under the control of Magad. Entire region. If we will see the map during that period, we will see that the entire north part of India was under the control of the Magad. See, this was how the Magad Empire took shape. Now we are going to see how the Magad Empire spread. See, you can see, can you see the Indian subcontinent map? You can also see a blue highlighted on the map towards the northeastern part of India. This is showing that the Magad Empire's extent and boundaries. How much the Magad Empire extended. This Shishunag always, means each and every king of the Magad always tried to expand their boundaries. And they expanded their boundaries by annexing the nearby kingdoms. So this area, which has been shown, this shows the extent of the Magad Empire during the Shishunagas. After the end of the Shishunagas dynasty, the Nanda kings came to rule in Magad. See, up to now we have learned about the Haryanka dynasty, Bimbisar and Ajatashatru. After that, the Shishunag was there. After Shishunag, or the Shishunagas dynasty, the Nanda rulers came to power. After Shishunagas, Nanda Magadha was under the control of Nanda dynasty. After Shishunagas, Magad was under the control of Nanda dynasty. The Nandas ruled the Magad Empire between 364 BCE and 324 BCE. This is the period during which the Nanda dynasty ruled the Magad Empire. They had a huge 4-column army of infantry, cavalry, chariots, and elephants. See, these are the 4 new words. Might be some students are not familiar with the word. So we are going to learn about this. Why the Nanda kings were so much powerful? The Nanda kings, we will see that the Nanda Empire extended right up to Punjab in the northwest. From that Bihar to Punjab, they expanded a huge kingdom. Why? Because they had a good administration and they had a very powerful army. So their army included 4 columns. Means there were the 4 important columns of their army. First was infantry. They were having a very strong infantry. Infantry means they were having a large number of the soldiers who were having a good quality of the weapons with them, and who fight in the on the land. Next, cavalry means they were having a huge number of horses in their army, and they were having a lot of expert soldiers, brave soldiers who used the horses to fight. That is cavalry. The soldiers, the troop of soldiers fight using horses. Chariots, they were having a large number of chariots. As the Nanda kings were very wealthy, they were having a lot of wealth with them. They were having a huge number of the chariots, and so they were having a great number of soldiers who used the chariots for their fight, and they were having a large number of elephants. As we know that elephant is the most powerful animal, one of the most powerful animal, and the use of the elephant always helps the king. The king having large number of elephants has an upper hand in the warfield. So as the Nanda kings were having strong chariots and a strong team of elephants to fight, they were very much brave. They were very much capable to annex the other kingdoms very easily. So they expanded their boundaries on a large number. The Nandas also introduced the system of standard weight and measures. See, as we came to know that each and every Mahajanapada had its own coinage. Every king of every Mahajanapada introduced his own coin to make his own separate identity. The Nanda kings were also having their own coinage. Also, the Nanda kings introduced the system of standard weight and measure. As you all know that when you go from the grocery store, the grocer used to give you in kilograms. If the liquid thing is there, he used to give in liters and all. These are the standard measures. Some standard measures were introduced during the Nanda period also. This shows that how these rulers were foresighted. They were thinking of their the people living in their kingdom, and they were foresighted. Now, let us see about some ruler of the Nanda dynasty. King Dhananand was the last king of Nanda dynasty. See, you can see here, King Dhananand, Nanda dynasty. By this time, the Magad Empire had extended up to Punjab in the west. This King Dhananand, he was the last king of the Nanda dynasty. Unfortunately, he was not as much as a capable ruler of the Nanda dynasty. He was always imposing a huge number of tax on his people, and he was always interested in expanding his army. He had a large number of the soldiers, and the money needed was taken by imposing huge number of taxes on the people living in his own kingdom. So most of the people from his kingdom didn't like King Dhananand, and so there was a great revolt against Dhananand. People were not talking good about Dhananand. At that period, people were very much afraid to talk about any king, but his tax strategies and the way he treated his people made them, they were very much angry upon Dhananand, and so most of the people raised their voice against Dhananand. During Dhananand's reign, the ambitious youth Chandragupta Maurya One Patliputra ended the Nanda reign and laid the foundation of Maurya Empire. Let me give you some more information which is not in your textbook. It is just a small information that during this Dhananand's period, Alexander invaded India. King Alexander, or you also call him Sikandar. King Alexander invaded India, and one of the renowned professor, Chanakya. Chanakya was also from the same period. Chanakya visited Dhananand's court and he asked Dhananand to make a huge wall protecting the boundaries of the kingdom so that no foreign invaders can invade in the kingdom. But King Dhananand made fun of Chanakya. He insulted the intelligent professor and he threw him back from his court. Chanakya in his mind that, and he explained Dhananand that even though if you are a king of this kingdom, some things have to be discussed with the people of the kingdom and had to be taken decision for the welfare of the people. But Dhananand didn't listen to Chanakya. Then Chanakya went from the court, and while wandering, Chanakya found a young boy, Chandragupta, who was having some issues with Dhananand. Dhananand had some, Dhananand's policies were such dangerous policies that the people living in his kingdom were finding it difficult to survive. And Chandragupta was also a victim of such policy of Dhananand. And Chandragupta was having a great discontent about Dhananand. Chanakya observed Chandragupta and Chanakya trained Chandragupta how to fight the king and win the empire. Under the training of Chanakya, Chandragupta learned all the strategies of administration or the warfield strategies, how to fight. And thus he annexed the Patliputra, that is the capital of the Nanda dynasty, and laid the foundation of the Maurya Empire. Means when Chandragupta defeated Dhananand, this was the end of the Nanda dynasty, and after that there was the rise of the Maurya Empire. I'm sorry. Let's recapitulate our lesson. I think all of you have got proper information about this Magad Empire. Can you tell me the names of some rulers you have learned in this session? One or two rulers? Yes? Anyone who knows, who wants to give the answer? Please tell. Name of any king you learned now and you can tell. Name of any king you learned now in this session.
Nanda dynasty.
Yes.
Sunanda's dynasty.
Nanda dynasty. Who was the one of the famous? Tell me the name of one of the famous king of the Nanda dynasty. Just now we heard the name Dhananand. Dhananand was the...
Dhananand.
Yes, okay, fine. So, here we have completed all the 3 sessions and all the detailed information given in your textbook. Now, we are going to recapitulate our lesson. We are going to see what we have learned right from the first session. So, in the first session, we came to know that Jana are formed first villages. What is Janapada? That formed first villages. The period was... Who will read this second line? Yes, please read. Please read.
1000 BC
yes.
to 600 BC is the period when Janapadas came into existence.
Very good. 1000 BC to 600 BC. We came to clear that. We came to know that this is the period when Janapadas came into existence. Who will read this third?
The name of these Janapadas can be found in Sanskrit, Pali, and Ardhamagadhi literature.
Yes, it's Ardhamagdi. So the detailed information about the Janapadas we get from all these three literatures we learned in the first session. Then, yes, please read. Yes, please. Around 16 Mahajanapadas. Yes.
were specially important till the end of 16th century BC.
Yes, we came to know that around 16 Mahajanapadas. See, this 16 Mahajanapadas are there. I am going to read the names. Kashi, its modern name is Banaras. Vatsa, its modern name is Allahabad. Panchal, Rohilkhand. Ashmak, modern name is Aurangabad. Magar, modern name is, it is in the area of South Bihar. Gandhar, it is the area of Peshawar. Kosal, it is Lucknow. Chedi, modern name is Kanpur. Matsya, modern name is Jaipur, area of Jaipur. Avanti, it's Ujjain. Vriji, it's the area of North Bihar. Kamboj is the area near Gandhar. Malla, its modern name is Gorakhpur. Kuru, its modern name is Delhi. Surasen and Ang. These are the 16 Mahajanapadas. We also came to know that Gautam Buddha was from the same period of the Janapadas, and he hailed, means he came from the Shakya Republic. He was also called as the Shakya monk. His father was the ruler of the Shakya Republic and he was his son. But Gautam Buddha left all the facilities of as a prince and lived the life of a monk. We also came to know that the revolution during the Janapada period, which made the Janapadas extend their boundaries, was only because use of the metal iron for agriculture and military purpose. The use of the iron made the rulers strong, powerful, and they extended their boundaries. Hence, the Janapadas expand it into Mahajanapadas. Also, the important factor that every Janapada had its own coinage. The most powerful Mahajanapada was the Magad Empire. This session, now we are coming to the session. The prominent three dynasties ruled Magad, that is Haryanka dynasty, Shishunagas, and the Nandas. Here we came to know that during this reign, the ambitious youth Chandragupta Maurya won Patliputra, ended the Nandas' reign, and laid the foundation of the Maurya Empire. Okay. So I think that this session would be very much informative, and you would have find some important information about the about the Mahajanapadas, Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. So shall we start with some activity? Shall we start? Okay. As yesterday I told you that we can make a simple chart which will help us out to memorize all the names and the extents which are given in your textbooks. So I have made a chart. This chart is also from the textbook. So some clues are being given. From that clue, you have to find out the relative things. See, 5 columns are made. First column is serial number, of course. Second is name of Mahajanapada. In this column, you have to guess the name of the Mahajanapada which is not been given. Then this column, location. This shows the location of the Mahajanapada, where it is located. The third column, this you have to state the capital of the Mahajanapada. And the third column, you have to tell the name of important king which is been given in your textbook. Any one or two important kings of that Mahajanapada. So the first row, see, name of the Mahajanapada is not given. And they are telling that they are giving a clue. At the foots of Himalayas. Which Mahajanapada is that is at the foots of Himalayas? To extend towards the northeast. And you have to find out its capital. And also you have to tell the name of a ruler.
Sir, Kosla, first one.
Very good. Very good. From this clue, you came to know that, see, this is a very good thing, that this shows that you have got the detailed information about Janapadas and Mahajanapadas, and you can locate the position of this. This was only the thing, important thing, which was expected, that you should know the locations. And from the clue, you find that Kosla was this Mahajanapada. Can you tell me the capital city?
Shravasti.
Shravasti. Very good. Good, good. Shravasti was the capital city of Kosla. And can you name one or two important kings from Kosal?
Prasenjit.
Very good. See, the answers are there. Kosla was at the foothills of the Himalayas. Shravasti was the capital city. It was also one of the important trade city. And Prasenjit was the ruler. We came to know that Prasenjit was the contemporary of Gautam Buddha. Means he was living in the same time when Gautam Buddha was there. Gautam Buddha and Prasenjit both were alive in the same time. So Prasenjit was the contemporary. Second question. They have given the name of the Vatsa Mahajanapada. You have to tell the location. You have to tell the capital city. And you have to tell the name of a ruler. Can you tell?
Sir, Kasta is located at Pragya.
Okay. It was located in the region around Prayag. This is
Allahabad.
Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh. Very good. And its capital city was?
Kosam.
Kosam, or you also called it Kosambi. And about this Kosambi, came to know that three very rich merchants of Kosambi made viharas for the stay of Gautam Buddha. And Udayana was the important king. Very good. Now the third column. They have only given the name of the important kings, Pradyot, Nandivardhan. So can you tell from which dynasty or from which Mahajanapada Pradyot and Nandivardhan were?
Sir,
Yes.
Avanti.
Avanti. Yes, very good. They were from Avanti Mahajanapada. Can you tell me the location of Avanti?
Located in Malwa region of Madhya Pradesh.
Very good. It was located in the Malwa region of Madhya Pradesh. And can you tell me the capital city?
Ujjain.
Ujjain. Very good. Ujjaini was the capital city. Now the last, Magad. They have also given the location, region around the city of Patna Gaya. Means this was the origin of Magad. After that, we came to know that Magad was extended till Punjab. It has extended to a vast. It has made its kingdom very vast. But the origin was from near the city of Patna Gaya. Tell me the capital of Magad.
Rajgir.
While seeing the details of Magad, we saw that there were the two capitals. First, Rajgir was made by Bimbisar, and then his son made Patliputra as the capital. And can you tell the names of important kings?
Ardhashatru and Bimbimsara.
Ajat-Shatru. It's Ajat-Shatru
Ajat-Shatru.
and Bimbisar. Very good. In this way, we got the detailed information about about the period of the Janapada and Mahajanapada. The study of this Janapada and Mahajanapada explain us that how the people, how how the people used to live during the period. This also tells us about the life of the people, how they lived, how the administration was being taken, how the administration was there. Thus, we come to know about the evolution of our Indian culture. Also, one thing we come to know that this was the period, at that period, there was a great influence of Bhagwan Gautam Buddha on the life of the people living in that period. Bhagwan Gautam Buddha and Bhagwan Mahavir. They were in the same period and they were preaching the people, healing the lives of the people, telling the people the proper way how to live the life. Also, these rulers, these kings from the Mahajanapada always visited Gautam Buddha, Bhagwan Mahavir to seek the right path of living the life. In this way, this chapter, we are completing this chapter. And we have got and Mahajanapadas. While recapitulating the lesson, I came to know that most of you have gained all the objectives which we have decided at the starting of the lesson. You know about the location of the Janapadas, Mahajanapadas. You also came to know about the life of the people. You came to know about the rulers of Janapadas, Mahajanapadas, their extent and boundaries, and some special characteristics, and how this study of Janapadas and Mahajanapadas is related to our life. And we also discussed about a profession which you can take it in your life as a story writer, or you can make use of this Ardha Magdi, Pali and Sanskrit literature books to get the more knowledge about Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. So in this way, we have completed our chapter. Thank you, all of you.